Hello, warrior empaths. Thank you for joining me on my channel. It's Amy, and today we're going to talk about a few different things like narcissists and empaths. And also, we're going to go into how a empath is different than a codependent. And first off, I'd like to thank everyone on my Facebook page. We're growing and growing and growing. I believe we're up to 200 or so members. And I invite everyone watching this video to not only like and subscribe my video on YouTube here, but also click that little bell so you can get notifications of further videos. And also, I invite all of you to enjoy, well, if there's enjoyment there, isn't there? But I invite you all to join my Facebook page. And I will leave a link down below so you can just click that and jump on and ask to become a member. So let's get into first the difference between a codependent and an empath. I don't know about you, but I do have a problem with people assuming that I am codependent. I am an empath. And how I found out that I was truly an empath, even though I suspected as much that I was I went to a therapist. And this was, during the breakup of my relationship with the narc, and at the start of the smear campaign, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And talking with the therapist after a bit, and then towards the end of the session, she looked at me and she said, "Amy, you're an empath." And then she proceeded to give me information and whatever tools I can use to not feel so much and to get involved in other things, so I wasn't ruminating so much. But with codependence, of course, codependents and empaths, yes, we have intense feelings. And with codependence, basically, what is the difference between us empaths and a codependent is the codependent lacks an authentic self. They take their characteristics from whoever they are codependent with. Codependency does start in childhood, and it is learned over a period of time. I think some empaths grew to become empathic. But I also think there's a bit of that it's the natural personality of who we are is an empath. We were born pure, loving, feeling individuals. And a codependent is always on edge, especially with the narcissist. They have to make sure that that narcissist, if they're out with friends, that they come home at a certain time. If they go over, they are frantic, and also they need constant reassurance. And of course, they think that whatever goes on in the relationship is always their fault. That they did not love that narcissist well enough. And they're always looking for ways to love that narcissist more. And like I said, they become frantic. And they will topple during the discard phase. Rarely you'll see a codependent do the discarding. So they rarely discard because they are so tied in to this person. They would be tied into the person whether they were a narcissist or not. That is how they cope. And during the relationships, they work hard to keep it going. So do us empaths. But they have a belief that they are not good enough. Sometimes, of course, the empaths can be codependent. And during a relationship with a narcissist, some of us will become codependent at times. But what empaths realize is we have confidence in who we are. We have that extra sense that we know we are being our authentic selves. And we're not trying to play games, dress a certain way, act a certain way to attract romantic attention. We're pretty much ourselves. So another quality of a codependent is that they are unable to regulate their emotions. And that's pretty much where that panic and that when they become frantic that they're losing out on this narcissist or whatever other human they are attracted to. And codependents will go to the ends of the earth to enable and excuse the narcissist. So, what is a empath? An empath, or in some circles, we're called highly sensitive people, meaning that we sense emotions of others. And we have that ability. We can walk into a room and we can immediately, we're just bombarded with feelings of everybody that is in that room. Many of us empaths will be introverted because we can't keep the constant emotions coming at us until we learn to block some of that. And with the narcissist, empaths are grade A supply. Why? Because we feel deeply and we are so forgiving. Unlike a codependent who is reacting, we are naturally forgiving and loving. So we take on other people's emotions as our own sometimes. Of course, we can always learn to block those a bit or try not to pay so much attention to it. Just being aware that we do this is good. And we can experience sudden and overwhelming emotions. We'll pick up some emotion of someone else, even through the TV. We can feel either the laughter and the love and the fun, and then again we'll cry. We can almost sob when something happens to one of the characters on the TV show. We feel everything, and we feel it twice as much as anybody. And when we're in public, sometimes it can be a little difficult when we're feeling overwhelmed with emotions. Most of us, of course, do not like going to large parties or get-togethers, and they may see us as the wallflower, or we just don't attend or like to attend those types of events because of all the emotions and the chance of being overwhelmed by them. And so it's fine to take a few breaks from these activities. And it's fine to take, to make events smaller, more personal. Especially now in these days of COVID. Probably, us empaths are probably doing a bit better than other people because we can fill ourselves up with love, and we don't want to be bombarded with all the emotions of people. So we're fine. We're good on our own. We can be our own best friend. And so, but in order to do that, of course, we have to keep reminding ourselves, especially a younger empath, that other people's emotions are not ours. We learn as we grow older, and become more experienced with life in general, that it's not our feeling. We are not feeling this. This is coming from a person that we're either talking to or someone else in the room. And emotions are funny. As most of us all have them. But we think of our emotions more. And it's always a good idea sometimes, especially when you're surrounded by people, or if you're in the middle of an argument with another person, whether they are narcissist, empath, or whatever, that you take a break. Let that person know that you're going to take a little break. Remove yourself from the situation. Take 3 deep breaths. And look at that emotion. Check to see whether it is your emotion or their emotion. See how it has affected you. And then also, of course, then go back to the conversation, the discussion, and allow yourself to tell the other person what it is that you feel. Also, tell them what you need. And that's also a good one if you're involved with a narcissist. Because if you tell a narcissist that you need this, or you need an emotion, you need, you need to be able to go to bed when you want to, that maybe you are a person that has, we tend to have, do things and have a schedule. It's not a tight one, but we do take our time before going out, getting involved with things. I have to sit for at least 2 to 3 hours every morning to get myself going and to center myself ready for the onslaught of emotions of others. And also be confident enough to share if you felt anger, disdain, or whatever from the person you were having this conversation with. And of course, after the love bombing phase, that'll stop them right in their tracks. Sometimes you can, sometimes they'll go along during that love bombing phase. But afterwards, no. They don't care what you need. And we do need our own personal space at times. And people turn to us for advice, for comfort, because they know we are naturally giving and receiving individuals. We are great listeners. And people feel comfortable because of our ability to listen and the compassion and empathy that we feel towards them, they are more than likely to share some very deep and intense feelings and share what has gone into their lives. And, you know, they come to us for advice and also for comfort. I mean, I'll have strangers come up to me and start telling me stuff about their lives and some very deep personal things, you know, not gross things. Like, I barely knew this one woman, and she sat down to talk to me, and she told me about her husband's suicide. She hadn't talked to many people about that. People knew that her husband had committed suicide. And of course, there was a lot of talking and rumors and, you know, some people trying to blame it on her. But, you know, she authentically came to me and told me this. I felt, of course, so much compassion for her. And she understood that and felt better. So that's, you know, they're not going to go up to a codependent and tell people these things. And sometimes, if we're not careful in shielding our emotions and understanding our emotions, we can see violence or tragic events on TV and they'll be triggered. And I'm sure there's been many times that each of you have felt real emotion in a movie, in a TV show, in a book. We have compassion for inanimate things, for, you know, a book, a movie, whatever. And in a way, sometimes it's a way for us to purge those feelings. And it feels better afterwards. But of course, we have to be careful that we know this is being triggered in us from the program or movie or book, and that it has nothing to do with any energy or emotion that's coming from within us. We're fine. We're not suffering. And we also understand, getting back to the woman who husband committed suicide, I was able to understand where she came from. I was able to understand her reactions to some people and to some things, where others were not able to do so. Like I said, some of them were gossiping and blaming it on her instead of, yes, she has difficulty trusting. She has difficulty being close to people because she may lose them suddenly. But they want to, in their minds. They create stories that I think it's more entertainment, but they like to believe it. A lot of people believe some of these things that they just concoct in their own mind. And also, we have a deep connection to animals, pets, nature, outside. It's always excellent to get out there each day and put your feet, hopefully bare, rubbing it into the grass and soil and grounding yourself in the feeling of nature. Nature does soothe us, and we love our pets. Our pets soothe us. And because when you're in nature, you're not bombarded with all these thoughts and feelings of others coming towards you. You are there becoming one with yourself, the earth, and the universe. One thing I like to do is at night, especially on a warm, maybe humid evening during the summer, to sit outside and stare at the stars. And it really has an amazing effect on how we see ourselves when we are in touch with nature. Watching those stars and wondering what do they look like up close, and is there life on other planets and things like that, and how does the universe go on and on and on. We don't get into the spot of feeling so little during that communication, but feel yourself as a natural part of humanity, of the universe, and of nature. Don't ever belittle yourself. And we have learned to do that during the relationships with the narcissist. It's only natural. And they can do such damage in such a short amount of time, too. People can become deeply affected and traumatized by a 2 to 3 month relationship with them. And they are affected. And of course, some of you people out there, some of you all have spent 20, 30, 50 years with this person. Forgiving, wanting to see only the good qualities. With narcissists, they're not going to show you any good qualities. Any good qualities that they were born with are long gone. They are now 100% narcissists. And they believe they are better than you and anybody else. And they're going to let you know it. So when we heal, and I do think as empaths, we have a better handle, a better grip on healing. Because once we are willing to look at who we are and what we are willing to be honest and truthful with ourselves. And we need that. We need to say, well, that was stupid, but I'm going to do it different the next time. We can honestly be our own inner critic, but we don't want to take it too far to where we do nothing but beat up ourselves or belittle ourselves. But once you actually become and understand your power as an empath, it's easier to heal. We can get ourselves out of that conditioning, that manipulation, and that coercion that they did to upend our lives. And of course, with a narcissist, one of the reasons they love us empaths is because we are always looking for a way to love, to always get to that love. We don't think that people can be evil. Even though I'm a daughter of a narcissist, and my first husband was kind of a junior narcissist at the time in training in his 20s. And we do forgive, and we do want to figure out, love. And the biggest thing we need to figure out is there's no love with the narcissist. They're not able to love anything other than themselves. So we have to start setting up boundaries. And I remember many times when the narcissist my last relationship was with, I just couldn't figure out what he was doing and why he was doing things, why he would put me down and stuff. He would tell me I wore stupid shoes. I wear Mary Janes, mainly because, and they're expensive ones, because I have a unstable ankle, and I also have fallen arches. I need something with a strap to keep my shoes on, and I wear orthotics. He knew this, of course. He didn't care. They were just stupid, dumb looking, blah, blah, blah. He didn't like that I needed 2 to 3 hours in the morning to, before I wanted to be bothered. And he would just moan and groan about that. I even discussed with the doctor as far as changing my sleep patterns so that I would get up earlier and be ready, when he would get up and want to get going. And this doctor told me, No, no. Patterns like sleep patterns are very, they're intricate, and it takes a lot of work to change them, is what she told me. And that we're best if we follow our own natural sleep. And so you just, you just can't bend over backwards for narcissists. But I did, because I cared. At that time, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were narcissists. Once I found that out, everything started to make sense. And of course, as a narcissist, well, as an empath, I should say, we pick up on lies very easily. We're a walking, talking lie detector. Except with narcissists, unfortunately, we turn to shut that part of ourselves off when we're with that person, telling ourselves, oh, that can't be true. That can't be a lie. No, 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 no. And so it takes us a while. I always used to say, and what I did, to make myself feel that I gave enough and tried hard enough in a relationship, that I gave three chances. Well, the narc and I, we broke up 3 times. He got to play hero and come and save the damsel in distress when I had gone on I was actually leaving him and moving out of state, when the woman I was traveling with, who was pulling my U-Haul trailer, and she had an RV. Well, we had our differences one day, when she thought, when my dog went missing, and she thought I should be ready to go right away that day without finding out what happened to my dog. And lo and behold, that next morning, I got up. I actually went to a motel right next to the RV park, because, of course, I was overwhelmed with these emotions of being blamed and can't figure that out. Why? And why can't this woman have some empathy for this little dog who was missing? I did find her. She ran away in a storm in Oklahoma. And she crossed 3 highways and ran over 1.5 miles. And this is a Chihuahua. The little legs. By my calling everyone and reporting her missing, they were able to, she was found at a business center, and they had called the police and animal rescue and found that I was looking and called me. So I luckily got her back. But get up. The RV's gone. The other woman who we were traveling with, her car was gone. They had taken off, leaving me in Oklahoma by myself. And the narc heard it from friends. He calls me, he comes to get me. Of course, he gets to play this hero. This hero of saving me, bringing me back home, pulling my trailer. I couldn't pull it because my car wasn't heavy enough or had an engine that could pull a trailer. And so then we get back. He's fine for about a week and then suddenly starts ghosting me. Oh, and the fun really started then. Now I know that had to have been a really major narcissistic injury that he suffered when I left and didn't inform him or anything. I was done. But he made sure I paid for it. And there's a reason that we really don't recognize the narcissist or the things that they do, because we would never, ever do those things. And it's a big wake-up call for all of us when we find out that we've been dealing with a narcissist. So that's the thing. That's empath. We are warrior empaths healing narcissistic abuse. Yes, we still need to heal. We still need to we need to unravel all the information, all the crap that they did and manipulated us to feel. And we have to recognize it, unpack it, see it for what it is in our healing. And we can do it. And I believe in support is the best way to heal. That's why I started my YouTube channel. That's why I started my Facebook page. And that's why I went into training with Michelle Neves for life coach, specializing in narcissistic abuse recovery. And I have a goal for my Facebook page and for here in YouTube also, that we reach out to one another, and we may want to buddy up, but find someone that you feel comfortable with in supporting and receiving support from. I am always available for one-to-one support. You can DM me anytime. And all I ask of each and every one of you is to share yourselves, to learn to love yourself again. And I love it as people are posting and sharing their stories And once you share a story with someone, especially an empath, you feel so much better. Like I said, I'm a life coach specializing in narcissistic abuse healing. And I will leave the information if you are interested in coaching. First session is free. Whether you decide to continue with me for a few more sessions or if it's the only session that you have with me. Each session afterwards is a rock bottom price of $35. And I also have a goal in setting up a support group, an online support group, and an online group coaching. And that would be, just DM me, let me know if you're interested. It would just be $5 a month. And you can leave after the first month or just continue paying as long as it serves you. And we will get together an hour a week. And for most months, it's four weeks in a month. So what is that? $1.25 to come on and get feedback, to get support, to be coached and mentored a bit. That is something I really, really like doing, because I wouldn't have, nobody believed me. Nobody believed me about the narc. And I had to join an online support group where people understood me. And I did make some very, very good friends. We're still in contact, and we still support each other, and we still get together and talk online. So the group coaching, we'll feel out who's interested and what days are best and whatever. So I'm looking forward to talking with all of you. Again, thank you for joining me. My love, guys. See you soon.